I'm joined by Mr. John Cherian, CEO Enparadigm. So I'd like to know from you, how do you see the landscape of L&D evolving?
So, I think the last 2, 3 years have been tremendous in terms of change for the learning and development industry as a whole, right? Companies have been torn between, do I go more digital or do I actually become more physical because I need a human connect as well in the way that we drive learning, right? And there's always that whole talk about hyper personalization. How do we ensure that the learning is relevant to the power of one, right? But it's been something that people have been talking about a lot, but actually evolving solutions around hyper-personalization is a very different ballgame, right? So I see, the whole digital trend going up for sure. But how do you keep the learner engaged? How do you ensure that the learning is hyper-personalized to the learner? And how do you ensure that it's really engaging? And it's something that the learner will value after going through it. These are some things that are definitely going to be more and more coming to the forefront.
So I'd like to know what will be your advice, for the future generation who are in, institutes right now studying. How do they prepare themselves for future skills?
How do they prepare that? So I think that's a great question. So let's look at what future skills comprises of, right? So on one side you have the digital and tech skills that everyone is already talking about. On the other side you have a lot of human skills, which at least maybe 20 years or 15 years back were not really taught in campuses anywhere, right? So the ability to work in a team, collaborate, communicate, be confident and assertive, right? And at the same time, be very solution oriented, being proactive, being agile. All these are part of the future skills landscape, right? So these are things that if the next generation, when we interview them from campuses, when anyone who interviews them sees these skills in the candidate, that definitely increases the chances of success in getting the job and then again in working in the corporate world, right? And this is the augmentation that you need to do beyond your regular technology or functional skills that you would anyway build in these campuses.
So my last question to you, what are your reactions to the summit so far?
Yeah, so I think a lot of energy, a lot of people. I'm sure for a lot of people it's very overwhelming to come back to a physical conference after the last 2 years, right? But we did end up meeting a lot of our very near and dear clients, and also being able to meet people whom it would have been otherwise very difficult to meet up in a virtual environment, right? So I think it is a great forum to bring the industry together.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cherian. Thank you.